help that comes from the Lord. You have to see it that way to recognize her value. She is help that comes from the Lord, and to resist her is to resist the Lord. Amen. If you're a man and you're married to a woman, to resist the help that she has is to resist the Lord, because he sent her to help you. I covered that with more detail last service, but I'm just going to say those words for now. Okay? But now going back to the notes, even without this biblical insight, women are perplexed that men are not eagerly receptive to their help. Perplexed. Amen. This message is designed to address this perplexity with a special focus on the relationship between men and women in marriage. Now, some of this may apply to the relationship between men and women in general, say on the workplace or what have you. Some of these things will apply, but the focus here is going to be men and women in marriage. The biggest mistake most wives make is providing help without addressing needs. Providing help without addressing needs. In essence, they are helping, but on their own terms. The example I used from last week was Eve, and I believe, this is my own personal opinion, but when she decided to eat the fruit, I think one motivation amongst others is that she was trying to help Adam. She wanted to help him, and I think she figured that if she ate the fruit, he would eat the fruit too, and he would be helped. Now, it was not a pure motive, but it was a rationale I think she had. But the concept there is that she had a way that she wanted to help him. Because she knew this, she figured this would be good for him. Instead of saying, God, you gave me this man. I know what this serpent is saying, but you gave him to me. Yeah. What is your vision for him, and how are my powers to help to be involved in that? Yeah. Yeah. Ironically, some women help, but in ways that are not meaningful for him. They have a short-sighted vision of what help is, and so they help in a way that is, in some cases, merely self-serving. In other words, there are things at stake for you in him doing this. It is not merely helping in the abstract, but there are things going on for you. And what I said in the first service is that for one reason why this happens for women is that they deal with numerous and countless social and emotional pressures that men cannot imagine. And so what's at stake for them in making sure a man does certain things is to relieve some of this pressure, because the cost of not doing those things, the social stigma, falls on them. And the example we used last week is just simply the issue of fashion. Why do some women take so long in the bathroom? Well, they're thinking, they're strategizing. They understand the implications of a fashion decision. When they walk, they have to know the setting and who's going to be there and what people are going to say, and the criticism, the perpetual criticism and surveillance, especially from other women who are judging them for what they're wearing and how their kids are dressed and they're fed and all these other kind of things. And that comes to all these decisions. And so when they're hurried and wanting you to do something, men, it has to do, in part at least, with those kinds of pressures. Most men can simply grab a pair of jeans, like today, some kicks, jeans, shirt, I'm out the door. Yeah, no man don't worry about any of that stuff. And these, the way man wears his hair, you don't have to even comb your hair. It's like the style. You walk out the house, you just wear rough and raggedy, look like an aborigine, right? So you walking around and you were just, but women have these pressures, and so that contributes to that. Okay? But understand that the needs of your husband lie in places you're often not looking. And in part because you don't necessarily know that, because we live in a society where, we expect men to make all kinds of adjustments to accommodate women. Right? And we have a history where men have been exploitive and men have done things to exploit women. But there's also, in our contemporary society, there's not often been things to respond to the specific needs of men emotionally. Emotion. And I'll talk about what that means. You, as a woman, have a profound impact on him emotionally. In fact, if you're married to him or you're engaged with having, you are probably the single most important factor affecting his emotional health. The single most important factor in affecting his emotional health. There's things all kinds of dynamics a man can weather when his wife is there to support him at home. But when that is not there, a lot of other things can be going well, but without the proper support and care at home, he'll lose it, or he can lose it. When a man's needs from his wife are not met, he can become lonely, though married, depressed, frustrated, angry, and bitter. Husband neglect is a thing. You often would not know the depth of his pain because, generally speaking, men are not emotionally expressive. Again, I'm speaking in generalities. It varies. There are variations amongst men. There are variations amongst women. I recognize that. Speaking in generalities here. Men initially attempt to tough it out. Men turn to alcohol, workaholism, affairs, and other unhealthy behaviors when their attempts to man up fail. Men are not motivated to discuss their problems with their wives because it makes them feel weak. And they anticipate that their wives will respond with criticism. Men are often not aware or make the time to participate in healthy opportunities to discuss their problems with other men. So as a result, they internalize. And it can go on for years. Years. And you think he's just doing his thing, but actually he's gone numb. He's just numb. Going to work, coming home, numb. So, it is an issue. It is an issue. Hollywood glamorizes men going to the clubs and to the bars and stuff. And I'm not saying there aren't men who have fun at those places, but a lot of it is filled with lonely, depressed men. Lonely, depressed men. They're not having a thrill. They're trying to, but they're not. They are depressed. They are lonely. So how should women respond? And let me tell you, you have a unique opportunity. There's something you can do as his wife that no other person can do. No other person can do this but you. And it's powerful. As I mentioned a few services ago, you are powerful and influential. And here's one of the ways you can flex your power in ways that respond to his needs and in turn cause him to reciprocate. In fact, I'm fairly convinced, I'm not a sociologist, I don't have a specialty in these kinds of things, but I'm personally convinced that if you respond to these things, that within the next 90 days, you can make a 50% difference in his response to you. If you took these things seriously. So the first part of it is, surprise, surprise, prayer. Prayer. Proverbs 9:10 said that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is insight. So the beginning of having the wisdom to respond to your husband and get him to receive your help is to have the fear of the Lord. That is submission to God. There's been, for centuries, there's been debates about the verses in the Bible that talk about wives submitting to their husbands. And there's a lot of literature on that, and there's various denominations with various views on it. I'm not going to get into the details of that right now, but I will have you to know, though, that the biggest question for wives is not whether or not they are submitted to their husbands, but whether or not they are submitted to God. Amen. Are you submitted to God? Is your